What is up? Welcome back to another video. Plenty of news to talk about, plenty to keep us busy here today. But before we get into that, I want to give a quick shout out to the channel members whose lovely names are listed around me here. Remember, if you join the channel, you support me, support the videos I do here. I greatly appreciate that. You get early access to videos, exclusive videos, and the ability to vote on upcoming projects as well. The votes are all in and cast for this month's review video, but I'll be putting out a poll sometime this week for the subsequent month's review video. So if you want to join and vote on that, be sure to do that soon. I'll also have very big news for the members next week and take some time to set it up this week. So join so you can be a part of that. If you can't, that's completely fine. Just like the video if you enjoy it, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate that very much. Let's get into the news. So we have a bit of a red theme in our news this week, which I guess is apropos given that Valentine's Day was just a few days ago. Hope you guys had a good Valentine's Day. The big item of news here is RED, not the color, the camera company. And about a year ago, I think it was last year sometime, Nikon, other camera company, purchased RED. Not a lot really happened from that point on, so far as I know. I could be incorrect. I'm not really that keyed into the cinema camera world. But it came out last week, end of last week, that they're releasing the Komodo X and the Raptor X with the Z mount, which is the Nikon mirrorless mount. And one of the things they were really toting is that because of the decreased flange distance, which is the distance from the lens mount to the sensor, gives you the option to put on a lot of other adapters for older lenses or adapters for the PL series lenses and all sorts of other stuff like that. Or the Z mount is bigger than the RF mount. You can do more with adapters. I'm not too sure about all of that. There's a video about it though. I will link that down below if you're very interested in it. I know I don't really usually talk about cinema cameras here too much, but it's kind of Nikon related and it's kind of camera related in some regard. It is very interesting to see that development though. And again, it fits with our red theme today, so I thought I would share. So if you're interested, give that video a watch. Now sticking with our red theme, we have Harman RED, which is a 125 ISO Redscale film. They announced it on Valentine's Day, again, very appropriate. They had a lot of different people on the internet shoot with it, test it out, and provide results. My personal favorite was the Addict Darkrooms video, which I will link down below. He develops in a lot of different chemicals, so you can see the different results. Goes into great detail about the qualities of the film. If you don't know what Redscale film is, as opposed to shooting through the layers how they should be filmed, you just flip it around and you shoot through the backing first. The base layer of the film emulsion is the red layer, which casts the red onto the rest of the layers. But if you're shooting film normally, the red is the last one. So when you flip it around, it's the first one, if that makes sense. There's much better ways to explain it than that. But basically what this is Harman Phoenix, but just loaded in the canister backwards. If you thought that Harman Phoenix was maybe a little bit too red casted to begin with, then just wait till you shoot Harman RED because it's even more red. I have a couple thoughts on this, too, notably. I'll begin with my cynical thought, which is that while they're introducing a new product, they have yet to do anything different. And this is the second time this has happened because they had Harman Phoenix in 35mm, then Phoenix in 120, and now reverse Phoenix in 35mm. If I was very cynical, I would say that in a couple months they'll release Harman Phoenix Redscale in 120. The other thing that I'm maybe being a little bit cynical about, I've not seen the cost of this anywhere. It probably might be floating around there somewhere, but I did see somebody commented something about why does Harman RED cost more than Phoenix when all you have to do is flip over Phoenix yourself and get the Harman RED film. They've released Phoenix, which is very impressive to release color film, but beyond that they've now just made a different size Phoenix and then they flipped it around. So yeah, I will say I do think Harman Phoenix in 120 is better just because you have more detail to work with, but even at that point the results I got, which I made a video about, there were a few that were just kind of more monochrome than anything else. You didn't really get the depth of like color film that you would get. And then I guess the other thought that I have is that, again, if this is a means in which they can conjure up some more capital to pursue other more creative, reliable forms of color emulsions, then I'm all for it. I just kind of noticed a trend of them making one thing and then tweaking it a little bit. Not trying to be too cynical, but that's just kind of how I see it, and that's a little bit, you know what I mean? They did say going into this year that they had big things coming, and I hope that this isn't the totality of the big things that they had coming. Moving off of the red thing, the next two items we have aren't necessarily red themed. In fact, the next one is more blue theme, I suppose. Bluesky is announcing a Instagram alternative called Flashes. They're launching a beta for that. I will link that article down below if you want to check that out. It's hard to say because there's been a lot of like Instagram alternatives that have been released over the years. I can think of a few off the top of my head, and they have seen varying levels of success. So if you're a photographer looking to get your work out there to other people, Instagram's not typically the best at this day and age because it kind of prioritizes more reels and things like that to continue to capture people's engagement and things that will push ads and things of that nature. Photos don't usually do that as much. A lot of people have been looking for an alternative to Meta branded products to show off their photography portfolio. Maybe Flashes could be that, maybe it could be a flash in the pan. It's really too early to tell, but that is something that's happening, and I feel like it's kind of worth talking about as it develops, but we will see. And then the final bit of news is an update from Light Lens Lab. They posted another blog on their website giving a little project update with a few more photos attached. They have successfully tested, processed, and scanned the second roll of the film, and the goal is to have black and white film along with films and other developmental processes available sometime in 2025, which is very exciting. We've not yet decided on a brand name, so stay tuned on further updates for that. If they're open to suggestions, I'm thinking like Romping Bronco Film or something like that, just like like Bronco Film. I think that'd be cool. Romptacular Bronco Film or something like that. I'm just throwing things out there. Spectacular Bronco Film, something fun like that. So just hit me up. My line's always open for you guys. You know where to find me. Very exciting stuff overall, and exciting to have a little bit more of a concrete deadline or trajectory on that front. But yeah, that's pretty much the news for this week. We have new lens mount for RED cameras, RED new color film, but it's not new film, but it's more experimental than anything else. Then we have Light Lens Lab update, which is exciting, and a potential Meta Instagram alternative if that's something you're in the mood for. So that's pretty much it for today's news. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it as always. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future content. And join the channel as well if you want to support me and have access to some of those perks I mentioned before. Appreciate you all very much, and I will catch you later in the week with other videos.